Hello, friends. Happy launch day. Hello. Oh my God. My friends. I swear to God, the universe was against me today. Getting home in time. Oh, my hair is so frizzy. Gross. I apologize. There was an accident on the highway on the way home. And I was sitting in my car and there was like 10 minutes to 6:30. And I was like, it takes me 10 minutes from the highway to turn off into the main street to my place. So I know I'm going to be late no matter what. But I'm here. How is everybody today? Hello, Aspasia. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the launch. Happy release day. Yes, my sons are out in the world. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, today has been such a wild ride. Whew, I have not eaten anything in probably about like 8 hours now. So if I make lunch or if I make dinner at some point, I will do that and you'll have to just bear with me. But it's been a day. Woke up to like all my friends wishing me happy release day. My boss, all the stuff. I'm not sure I understand. Get out of here. Siri, no one wants you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I am so overwhelmed with the amount of love that everyone was showing me online today. It's been so nice. I also had an idea to do a TikTok live at the same time, but my phone is on kind of a low battery now, so I don't know how well that's going to work. But I think I might do it just for a little bit to see how it works. I've never done a TikTok live, so we'll see. I don't even know if I can set it up properly, to be real. But yes, how are you guys doing? Hello, Audrey. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much. Hello, Jillian. Thank you. Oh my goodness me. Can I go live? Can we do this like this so that they're kind of in the same spot? We can. Yep. I saw that coming. Oh, God. It's really funny. I'm very sorry for the loud noise to my friends. I'm going to check that in there. And we're going to go launch day live. This is a total last minute thing. I do apologize, my friends, but we'll get into it in a second. Okay, please stay standing. You're just gonna be a leaner today? Is that what it is? Oh my God. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go live on TikTok as well. Oh my goodness. Hello, friends on TikTok. I'm Jen, if you guys didn't know. I should also say that here. I'm both on TikTok and on YouTube right now, so this is very fun. But we're going live. We're going to celebrate the launch of A Second Story, my little cozy fantasy, queer cozy fantasy, because it went live today. Very happy about that. But yeah, oh my goodness, everyone on YouTube is saying hi to TikTok. So if any of you ever have any questions, please ask me. I will try to keep track of both chats. So it's going to be fun, but I also am kind of low battery on my phone. So if at any point I say like, join us on YouTube, please join on YouTube. But I'm very excited to talk about my book today. So yes, it's release day. My sons are out in the world. It's their birthday. My goodness. Okay. I love it. Aspasia says, I'm good. Today has been very productive. Now to celebrate you and then some reading after. Oh my goodness me. I love it. Oh, it's going to be so good. Wow. But yes. Does anyone have any questions? I really don't have any like vibes for this live in particular, but I'm so excited. I'm so pleased. I also really apologize if you can hear my air. It just went on. It shouldn't stay on for very long. But woo, I'm a mess today. Straight up mess. Today's been a day, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. Britt Stark on TikTok says, congrats. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. This is very fun. I've never done a TikTok live before. I'm usually live on YouTube, but yes. I guess for those of you kind of just coming in, I'm Jen. I'm a queer cozy author from Canada. Queer cozy author? That's not it. I'm a queer indie author from Canada. And my first book just came out today. Very excited. I self-published it. My sons. Here you go. A little better look at the cover. I know it's inverted on TikTok, but alas. But yes, for my friends on YouTube, my sons. I'm so excited. How many of you guys have ordered a copy who are watching today? I'm very excited to know this. Ugh. Oh my gosh, there's 10 of you watching already. My gosh. Britt says, where can we order it? Literally anywhere. It's available on Amazon for sure, but if you want to order it through your local indie, you can order it through there as well. It's called A Second Story. I know it's a little backwards to see because it's backwards, but it's by me, J.A. Collignon, Collignon. All that good stuff. But yes, you can find it on Amazon. Vespasia says, I haven't used TikTok in forever, but I'll hop on for your stream. I mean, thanks. You're already here, so that's okay. It's the same content in both places. I love it. I feel like we're getting a lot more spam in the TikTok one than we are in the YouTube one, which is pretty standard, I guess. It's TikTok. But the Lorax did just ask me, would you rather see a tree grow or a knee grow? Definitely. I see what you just did. Screw you. But a tree. So excited for you. I'm ordering this tonight. Thank you so much, Britt. I love it. Thank you. There we go. Okay. But yes, my friends. Yeah, as I said, I don't really have any plans for today other than I will eventually be reading my book out. Wow, this is a lot. Wow, Lorax. I know. I caught it as I was saying it, and it makes me very sad that I actually said that out loud. I'm very sorry, but spam, they get me. Jupiter says, can't wait to read it. Hopefully it gets me out of my reading slump. Oh, I really hope it does help you out in some kind of way, or at least gives you a lovely, warm place to land. You know, that's the main thing with A Second Story. It's queer, it's happy, it's just, I hope it's lovely. And I hope you guys enjoy it for sure. But yes, does anyone have any questions for me about the book? About anything? Oh, Cece's here on TikTok. Cece says, oh, it's just the sweetest and best book. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yes, this is very fun. But yeah, I guess we could start off with, if you guys have any questions about my two boys. We got Ari, who is the elf, and Finn, who is the guy here. Does anyone have any questions about them? I know, only a few people have read this because I have it out into ARC readers and it's only being mailed out and delivered this week for people who have pre-ordered it, but which is kind of fun because it's, there's still a lot of open goals or open knowledge, if you will. What does it say? Swipe right to filter comments. Oh my God, they make the comments bigger. Oh, that's so fun. Oh my God, tiki-taki, let's go. Cece asks, regarding the series, will it be other main characters or continued story? each of this, because this is going to be the first of a series. This is the first of a series, I should say. It's the first in my series of Arrowmount books. And I am going to have a whole series of them. And it's going to be companion series, like a companion series with all different main characters. So this follows Ari and Finn. And then book 2, which is called A Little Luck, which is coming this fall, follows Lottie and Kier, and it is a sapphic slow burn romance. So each one's going to be different. And I will eventually also have a series, either a duology or a trilogy, for one of the characters in here named Sage. And she's going to be, she's going to have her own little series. It's not going to be attached to the Arrowmount book series, but I'm very excited. I'm so excited to have you guys introduced to the world. But yeah, it's going to be a bunch of different characters. Aspasia, both places, says, I haven't been reading fantasy much as I used to, and this book was perfect to ease back into fantasy. I'm so glad. I read your whole review on Goodreads, and it made my whole heart like warm on the inside. You're so sweet for saying these things. Oh my goodness. And I love that it was a way to get you back into fantasy, because it was, it is a soft fantasy for sure. I was talking to my friend Sophia yesterday. We were filming my next episode of my podcast together, and she interviewed me on that podcast. And she's not really a fantasy person, but she is she kind of is. Like, she likes some fantasy, but not like a high fantasy person. She's more of a romance person. But I was like, yeah, no, like these books are more fantasy leaning, or they're not fantasy leaning. They're more romance leaning, because it's very, slice of life and cozy. There's not like any politics or anything at play that you find in most fantasy books. So I guess maybe there's like a dash of politics, and that's just because of Finn's life. Once you read this, you will know. But yeah, it's definitely the goal was to make something very, very sweet and soft. And, and I can't write anything without including magic in it. So it's just kind of what you get. It's what you get when you read something by me. Jillian on YouTube says, so excited to read more about Sage. I am so excited to explore her story. I'm truly so excited. Oh my gosh. She's so lovely. She's my sweet little just ball of sunshine, and she's very naive in this book, right? All she wants to do is go on an adventure. And in her story, that's what she is doing. She's going on an adventure. And so she's going to, have an adventure that's going to age her a little bit, because she's going to have to become less naive. But she's not going to lose that like core of sunshine in her. But Aspasia says on YouTube, I agree, Jillian, Sage was so much fun to read about. Honestly, she's probably my favorite side character in this book. I love her to pieces. She's a sage green tiefling druid. So yes, this is all like D&D based. But if you don't know much about D&D, fret not. I have included a glossary in the back of the book. So if you don't know a term or anything that I've mentioned, it is in the back. There's also a character list, which is very exciting, that I did to have the pronunciation of some of the names that are a little bit weird. Because I know fantasy has some funky names, as you guys well know. But yeah, Josie on TikTok says, so excited to order it. I love the cover. Thank you so much, my lovely friend and cover designer, Tessa. She's Rogue's Corner, I believe, on TikTok and on Twitter and on Instagram. Oh gosh, she's Rogue Corner on one of them and Rogue's Corner on some of them. So she's amazing. I love her to pieces, and she's so talented. And my boys, they're so beautiful. I love them so much. But I'm so excited for you guys to meet them fully, Oh, goodness me. But yeah, Happy launch day. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right, we've been live for about 15 minutes on YouTube. So what would you guys like to do? Would you guys kind of like to, I don't know, ask me more questions about my writing, about the story, about what's coming next? Or would you like to kind of play a game where you give me page number and I read a quote from the page? Or would you like me to dive into the chapter readings? What would you guys like to do? Aspasia on her TikTok account. I love that you're in both places right now, Aspasia. Aspasia says, can't wait to annotate the story and then theorize to the character list when the copy arrives. I'm so intrigued about your theories, Aspasia. I want to know your theories on like who's going to get a book, because I read that in your Goodreads review. I read it and I was like, you have theories? Like, because so far, the books that are planned, I mean, A Little Luck is written. First draft is written, and that's between Lottie and Kier, who are, Lottie is a character in a second story. She is a bard that's mentioned. But book 3, neither of those characters have been mentioned yet. So I'm very intrigued to hear your theories, because I would also like ideas as to what I want to write next. Aspasia on YouTube asks, why did you choose to publish this over your epic fantasy? That's a really good question. I think that I know, it's not an I think, it's an I know, that my epic fantasy, which I call Project Dragon, which is, you know, a typical epic fantasy that has like dark vibes, multiple POVs, it spans a little bit of time and definitely a lot of continent. It was only at like 40,000 words after 6 months of working on it, and it just takes me so much longer. That's not to say that I won't publish that in the future, though, because I, one, really do want to publish it, but I don't know whether I want to self-publish that one or traditionally publish that one, because I do want to be a hybrid author one day. But yeah, so that one was definitely not ready to publish for sure. And when I originally read Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, I was inspired to start this world and this story through Aramount, and Ari and Finn just leapt through my mind into the page, and I knew immediately, I was like, okay, well, this is actually probably a good experiment to do with self-publishing in a way. You know, I thought it was kind of an interesting thing, because cozy fantasy is a lot quicker to write than epic fantasy, at least in my experience. I figured it was probably a better choice to do, because I know a lot of like indie published authors churn out books so quickly. So I was like, okay, well, I can't spend 4 years on a book between every publication. So if I do decide to publish my epic fantasy this same way, I will definitely do, I will probably have both written and ready to go when I decide to publish them, so that I can pop them out to pretty like efficiently. That's probably the only reason. But yeah, my cozy fantasies have just taken over my brain. Completely taken over my brain. But yeah, I'm so pleased by it. To those of you who just joined, I see my friend Sophie and Yeleni just joined on TikTok. Hello, my lovely friends. But yes, we are celebrating launch day, which I'm so excited about. My little boys are out there, and my poor copy of my book is starting to get a little bit wrecked, because I keep like holding it and like just manhandling it, because I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. But yes, we are also live on YouTube, and for those on YouTube, we're live on TikTok. So everything's fun and crazy. But yes, if any of you guys have any questions you want to ask me, I am here to do so. But I think in the meantime, let's do a fun little game. Cece says on TikTok, market-wise, the benefit of cozy fantasy is it appeals to romance readers and epic fantasy readers. Very true. And it is definitely a very like right now thing. I really wanted to get into the cozy fantasy market quicker than I did, but because I'm not a super fast writer, I am a pretty fast writer. That's I am like, when I'm actually writing, I'm a fast writer, but I want everything to be perfect. And I know myself, I can't turn around projects really quickly. So, I mean, 11 months is as fast as I can possibly do it. And this kind of ties into your question, Aspasia, on YouTube here. Is self-publishing 2 books a year your current plan for the Aramount books? Yes. I'm going to say that very tentatively because I have a little lot coming out this fall, and I have plans to have the 3rd book come out spring 2024, around the same time that I've published a 2nd story, if everything goes well. And then hopefully between now and then I get inspiration for book 4. But if I don't, that's okay, because I think my next plan to do is to work on Sage's story and have that out possibly in the fall, winter of 2024. So it would be great if I could keep on this like 11-month turnaround schedule for my books. I think it would work really well for just, you know, building an audience and churning out stories that I really love. But I know myself, and for the past decade or more of my life, it's always taken me years to write really, really big books. So I think this was a good choice on my part for seeing if I can, one, balance being able to self-publish books quickly and keep myself on a schedule. So we'll see. We'll see how it works for book 2. Fingers crossed. It's with beta readers right now. So fingers crossed I can do all my editing in June that I need to for story stuff. And then July, August have like my intense editing, just over and over and over, polishing the words and everything. So that September can be a little bit of a buffer month. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But yeah, let's play a little bit of a game. You guys ask me or give me page numbers, and I will give you different, you know, a quote from that page. That'll be really fun. You can pick between 1 and 266. So definitely ask. Aspasia asks now on TikTok, how are you choosing which characters to focus on next? I honestly am just working on inspiration and vibes. I totally just was like, okay, let's go with this. And then I got the idea to do an artifact thief and a bard, and I knew the bard was set up in here already, and I got that idea early on when I was working on a 2nd story. So I knew that was going to be book 2, or like a book in the series, when I decided I was going to make it book 2, mainly because I did that because I wanted to publish it in the fall for you guys, because it's a very fall themed book. So that one's coming this fall. But yeah, that's I'm just going on vibes. I'm really just going on vibes and inspiration, because I can't really do anything with stories unless I have the inspiration to do so. And unless I have the moxie to do so, because I haven't yet been able to work on a project unless I have the urge to, and the inspiration needs to hit. So I am so excited to work on book 3. And I'm so excited for you guys to know that one, but it's going to be a little while from now, maybe a year from now, hopefully. But anyways, okay, we got some page numbers. So Jillian asks for page 13. So page 13 is chapter 2, I do believe. Chapter 2, page 13. What's a good quote I can do from this one? It's going to be real short, but that's okay. This quote will be, "You still got the flowers." And because I do plan on reading chapters 1, 2, and 3 today, you'll know what that is in a little bit. That's page 13. Aspasia on TikTok asks for page 32, which is the beginning of chapter 6, called "Nothing More Than Dreams." This quote, this is getting a little bit more spoilery, if you will. But chapter 6, we'll go with the very first line of chapter 6, which is, "Arlias traveled for over a week on his own, moving at his own pace through the day and finding odd places to tuck himself at night to stay safe." That is the least spoilery I can be on that part. And then you also asked for page 111, and Aspasia, you have a knack for picking the beginning of chapters, because this is chapter 19, Mr. Dew's Farewell. This one, I will give you the first paragraph because I think it's very cute. Once they had settled into the idea of staying, Ari and Finn sought out Dew. His eyes widened in awe as though they had handed him an entire kingdom of wealth. Sage took off. No, that is not. Sage stood off to the side, both hands over her mouth, eyes so wide and brimming with excitement that Ari thought she might explode. So that's another one. But if any of you other lovely people want to ask for page numbers, we can totally do that. Actually, that could be fun too. I have a lot of characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Okay. I have 34 characters. So I'm going to roll 2 d20s and I'm going to see what number it lands on. If it's over the 30 whatever mark, I'll just pick again. And I'll read who that person is. Hopefully it's not spoilery. Okay, so we rolled a 3 and a 6. So that's character number 9. Character number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Character number 9 on this list is Sherville Tea Leaf. He is the lighthouse runner and owner. He's Sage's granddad, and he is a dark midnight blue tiefling. And if you don't know what a tiefling is a D&D species, if you will, that is human and demon combined. So it's a horned creature, a horned person, if you will, but humanoid. But yeah, he's midnight. He's like a dark, dark blue. His horns are blue. Elderly man. Love him to pieces. And Aspasia says on here, your favorite pages. I cannot choose. I really can't. Oh my God. That's a tricky choice. But I think maybe do we want to dive right into the reading of some chapters? I think that could be kind of fun. Since it's already 7:06. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to read the 3 chapters, but it shouldn't take me that long. Yeah, I figured why not start a little bit of a reading of A Second Story, which is my book. My book that's out today. Oh my God. How unreal is that though? Like, I'm officially a published author. I'm living my dream right now. Wow. Oh my God. I read the first 2 chapters earlier today out loud so I could like practice for them. And I found 2 typos. So please don't tell me if you find any more typos in my book. This is why I don't want to reread a lot of it, because I will find things that are wrong. And that just makes me mad as an editor myself. But anyways, okay. A Second Story by me, J.A. Culligan. Part 1 is Wildflowers. Chapter 1, Dancing Wildflower Reveries. This is an Arlius chapter. Wildflowers danced happily in the sunshine, their brilliantly colored heads ducking and swaying throughout the meadow. Arlius Damaris sat surrounded by his other party members, wondering, not for the first time, what he had gotten himself into. Ari, you're lost in the clouds, said a charming, honey-smooth voice from behind him. Coming out of his reverie, Ari jumped as a man plopped down on the grass beside him and propped himself up amidst the flowers on one elbow. The man shook his shaggy, curling black hair away from his face and turned his ocean blue eyes on Ari. Finian Goldbark. From the billowing shirt that lay casually open, revealing a curling patch of black hair on his chest, down to the neat leather trousers that cut off just under his knees, and the casual pose he struck, Finian oozed confidence and a natural charisma that enchanted Ari. I will just say, my air just turned on, so I do apologize if you can hear that. Rays of sunshine cast a soft glow against his golden skin, highlighting the unshaved stubble on his angular jaw. A smile spread lazily across Finn's face. It was unfair how beautiful this man was. It felt as though Ari was staring straight into the sun, and he couldn't stop. Arlius, said Finn in a sing-song. Hold on, let me do that better. Arlius, said Finn in a sing-song tone. Wow, I can't talk today. I do apologize. Waving a hand in front of Ari's eyes, Ilmater's mercy, had he been staring? Ari laughed awkwardly and dropped his gaze away from Finn's intoxicating smirk. Finian, I've been calling your name for minutes now. I never thought that you, the infamously focused Aurelius Damaris, would get so distracted by a view. The flowers, of course, he added as Ari's cheeks blushed pink. So he had been staring. Gods. Finian laughed, the sound full and hearty and totally carefree. That's what Ari liked best about being around him. From the moment the man had strolled into the bar back in Faycross and joined their party, even if they were neck-deep in a bloodbath of trolls, fighting a hag, or drinking subpar ale in a rundown tavern, he had an uncanny ability to find the bit of joy in any moment. All right, my lord, teased Ari playfully, flicking a bit of grass at him. Finn was the son of some lord in a far-off kingdom, though thankfully he was not a lord himself, which probably would have made him even more insufferable. Any poke at his familial status caused a playfully affronted smile to appear on his face, a single dimple by his mouth pulling at Ari's heart. Finn shifted forward to grab a bundle of wildflowers, plucking them free. He cast a look around at the meadow and their fellow party members that were scattered about, twiddling the flowers between his fingers absently. A small crease appeared between his eyebrows as though thinking something through. A short time ago, their group had been barely acquaintances that had arrived in a tavern, gathered together by a king to do a job. Over the past couple weeks, though, they had settled into something more akin to friendship. Finn and Ari had become nearly inseparable, which continued to surprise Ari every day. In Faycross, Ari had rolled his eyes when this charming, beautiful man sat down with them. From that moment, there's a typo there. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I hate that. Okay. From that moment, Ari believed that Finn thought rather highly of himself, and Ari had spent too much of his life around people who were just like that. That is, I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. Okay. But as quickly as that opinion had formed, Finn showed time and time again that he was more kind and thoughtful underneath all that shiny, smiling exterior. His energy drew Ari in constantly. Ari's heart tumbled fast into an affection deeper than he ever thought he could feel, truth be told. I love flowers, said Ari, watching those in Finn's fingers dance. They remind me of the meadows near my home. What was your home like? Ari shot Finn a look. He knew perfectly well what Ari's childhood had been like. The man had coaxed most of Ari's life story out of him one night after the party had come across a sensational stash of alcohol. Ari had lived under a tyrannical mother that ran her household exactly how she wanted, down to the shining white marble halls that remained silent as the stone themselves. As head cleric to the church their family belonged to, it was expected of Ari and his siblings to follow suit. The others did, but Ari had other plans. Plans that involved a near obsession with wizardry as a boy, which got him tossed from their household by his mother's personal guard as soon as he was old enough to live on his own. I mean the landscape, said Finn, motioning to the flowers around. The hills, the flowers. Ari nodded, letting the memory of the hills fill his mind. They were wondrous, rolling hills coated in long grass and wildflowers in the summer with snow-topped mountains framing it all in the distance. There were beautiful streams all throughout the woods that surrounded them, perfect for swimming and hiding from responsibilities. In the winter, they were often untouched by anyone but me. Ari let out a long breath and smiled, looking down at his hands. Felt like my own little world. That sounds absolutely glorious. It was, sighed Ari. This meadow was only a fraction of the size of what those hills were, but it does have its own beauty to it. Finian sat up, bits of flowers and grass clinging to his clothing as though he was a magnet. Without hesitation, he reached over and threaded the tiny bundle of wildflowers he had been fiddling with through one of Ari's braids, right above his long, pointed left ear. There, said Finn quietly, almost to himself. Now you've got a bit of that beauty to carry with you. Ari choked on his next question, words dying on his lips, and simply stared at the man in front of him. Was Finn purposefully letting his hand linger by Ari's hair? Or was it just Ari's imagination? One of the other party members cracked a joke from behind them, but Ari's brain was too loud with the sound of his own heartbeat to hear. Finn laughed and turned his attention away from Ari, running his hands over his shirt, brushing off all the bits of meadow as he stood, leaving Ari's side. Ari's fingers tingled, wondering what it would feel like to thread them through Finn's hair. Come on, Ari, he chided himself, peering out at the sea of wildflowers once again. He may be rather handsome, and I have the prettiest eyes I have ever... Oh, gods, I'm fully gone, aren't I? Arleus sank down onto his elbows and dropped his head back, letting the mix of loose hair, braids, and flowers fall behind him in a curtain of white. He closed his eyes against the sun and let his traitorous heart beat for the man, knowing it was probably hopeless. Probably. And that's the end of chapter 1, my friends. How do we like it so far? How do we feel? We had Dawn pop in. Hello, Dawn. Welcome to the stream. We are streaming both on YouTube and on TikTok, which is very fun. But I believe it's only Aspasia on TikTok now. It looks to me only you. which I love. Aspasia says 3 different celebration emojis. I love it. But yeah, catching typos in your own work is unreal. I hate it. After it's published, I've been like, as I was reading, I think if you guys have seen my self-published video that went, or my self-publishing journey video that went up this morning, I think if I do pull a hair in my mouth, oh, terrible. If I do pull the book from Ingram's system, I will probably do a typo run throughout the whole thing, just to check and see if I can do that typo run and then re-upload to Amazon and stuff, because it's free to do that, and then have proper copies go out to future readers. But it's all good. It's fine. Dawn says, love the first chapter. Happy launch day. Thank you so much, Dawn. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to take a bite of this cheese sandwich, or this cheese bread that I made earlier before the cheese goes bad. I haven't eaten in so long. I also did my nails today in the colors of the cover, as best as I could anyways. So we have like the orange that's kind of along the side here. We have kind of a grayish color that the bottle at least looks like the same color as the cover. But when I put it on my finger, it's a lot darker, unfortunately. And then I have 2 different kind of bluey greens to go with the sky behind. I thought it was kind of fun, but my middle finger on this finger didn't dry properly, so it's all messed up now. So I'm going to have to redo that at some point. But launch day things. Anyways, shall we dive into chapter 2, my friends? Or do y'all have any further questions you want to ask? As I eat another bite. Jillian says, I almost asked earlier about your nails. Love them. Why, thank you. I appreciate it. And Aspasia asks, will we meet Ari's siblings? No. No, probably not. I don't think that's in the cards. I mean, never say never, obviously. But I think maybe one day. Maybe. I don't know. In my head, Ari left home a really long time ago, like over 100 years ago. I know I didn't make that very clear in the book, but because it doesn't really matter that much. But it's the siblings weren't really that important in his backstory, so it's more of just them there. But yeah, in the D&D campaign that I originally played Ari as, my friend had us meet his mom and his little sister, which was very fun. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll ever meet them in any of the Irma books for sure. But who's to say? Who's to say? Anyways, let's dive into chapter 2, my friends. Chapter 2 is called Untraceable Traces. It is a Finn chapter. Good old Finian. All right. Night fell around the party slowly, like ink spreading through water. Low murmuring came from 3 of the party members, Soren, Brennan, and Prim, who were seated around the fire. Soren's wings, out in a relaxed position behind him, shone in the moonlight, the black feathers turning slightly purple. He gestured toward the flames, playing with the sparks that danced toward him, turning them into tiny illusory fairies to dance around the others. Prim, their tiny barbarian that packed more than your average punch, poked the fire with a stick to keep the flames and sparks roaring, an amused smile on her face. Damaris, are you taking next watch? Clea walked back into the clearing from the end of her rounds, rolling her muscular orcish shoulders beneath the weight of her armor that she started to undo. Finn perked up slightly at the sound of Ari's name, his eyes immediately falling on the white-haired elf that was seated a little way off against a tree, reading a book. How he could read in the dark was beyond Finn. I can, Ari answered, standing up. Finn was on his feet before he could stop himself, his heart too eager to spend more time with Ari alone. I'll join you. He flinched inwardly at himself, knowing he should have stayed quiet by the others. Ari didn't need him chasing his heels, and Finn, for one, did not need his stupidly, subtly romantic heart to latch on so fiercely to someone he knew he wasn't going to be around for long. If you wanted privacy with your boyfriend, you could have just asked, teased Brennan, tapping an arrow they were fletching against their forehead, winking at Finn. Finn felt his face heat up, thankful that the sky was darkening to hide it. Was it really that obvious that he liked Ari so much? He hoped not, because if Ari knew, then it would make what he had to do even worse. Do you think that we'll get to Boar's Rest by tomorrow? Finn blinked a few times. It took him slightly too long to realize what Ari had said, his mind getting caught on the moonlight shining on Ari's hair, reminding him of starlight. He cleared his throat and fingered the hilt of one of his daggers. I don't know, maybe? I haven't been out this way before. I am getting tired of chasing this man around the realm, said Ari with a sigh, sending an arrow straight to Finn's heart. As a party, they had been assembled with one purpose back in Feycross, to hunt down the notorious royal assassin called the Shade. They had been collectively hired by the King of Zidian, King Zoran, to bring about this assassin's demise. Finn, being who he was, had wiggled his way onto the team without much effort or error. His skills with his daggers were as yet unmatched in the party, and he was rather good at sneaking. I wonder what King Zoran would do if the Shade was never caught, mused Finn, flicking his dagger out to toss it around between his fingers. Ari chuckled darkly. Probably throw some kind of tantrum that would end with someone being sentenced to death. Good old Zoran really does love his death sentences, doesn't he? Hopefully it will not come to that, said Ari, peering around the forest with a watchful eye before turning to look directly at Finn. Do you really think the Shade has made his way to Boar's Rest? It seems almost too obvious. Finn snorted. You're not wrong. What kind of assassin goes around leaving traces thick enough for us to follow? Even I wouldn't do that. That's why I'm suspicious. Maybe he's leading us off in a completely different direction. Ari tripped over a protruding root on the ground that he missed in the low light, swearing under his breath. Finn reached out in a snap to catch him, the two of them coming to a stop for a second. Finn willed his fingers to let go of Ari before he lingered too long, like he had with the wildflowers. But Boar's Rest is the only lead we have, of course, Finn smiled, ducking beneath a low-hanging branch. This Shade, he seemed so pompous, doesn't he? With all these rumors of his glory, before I left home, there was something new going around about him, killing the King of Eliwith's right hand with a look alone. Like that's possible. And another about claving through a duke at his own dinner table without anyone else noticing. I don't believe any of it. Some of it is real, said Ari with a shake of his head, as though he too didn't believe most of the stories. I was present when the Duke's body was found. It wasn't at the dinner table. That was a court rumor flying out of hand. He was killed in his own locked chambers before the feast when he was visiting King Zoran. He was found mostly naked, halfway through changing, with his hands still trapped inside of his shirt. Finn and Ari snorted in laughter, scaring a few birds out of a nearby tree. I shouldn't laugh, chortled Ari. The man's dead, for God's sake. Who found him? His manservant. The poor lad had to be given a double shot of brandy before he calmed down after finding his master in such an intimate way. Tell me, said Finn with a careful glance at Ari, was the Duke found with the Shade's trademark left on him? Thumbprint of blood right on the man's cheek. I won't tell you which one. Finn let out a snort, like leaving a lip paint stain on a lover. Brazen man. I wonder why he does that. We can ask him when we catch up to him, said Ari. Ooh, my phone's dying. That's fine. We're good. We're good for a little while. Finn knocked his shoulder amiably into Ari's, shooting him a sideways smile. The two of them continued in companionable silence for a while beneath the trees. Nothing moved in the forest except for them and the occasional bird, though, truth be told, they wouldn't have noticed anything unless it walked right in front of them. What are you going to do when all of this is done? I'm not sure, answered Finn, reaching up and pulling a bundle of leaves off a tree to fiddle with, pocketing his dagger. Do you have a comfortable home to go back to? What, with you being a king's man? Place to live, yes, but I wouldn't call it comfortable or a home, said Ari, shooting Finn a glance that made him laugh. Zoran gave me one when I came under his employ, but it doesn't really feel like mine. I have very little to go back to. What do you mean? Ari cringed slightly, and Finn worried he had pressed a sore spot. It might have been an incredibly stupid choice, but I let the king know that this was my last job for him. Once this is done, Ari let out a long sigh as though the weight of the situation he was in, sorry, I just got a text message and it distracted me. As though the weight of the situation he was in had just increased. I didn't really have anything in mind, actually. I quit. Finn slowed in his walking, his mouth hanging open. From the moment he met Ari, Finn knew that he loved decision-making and keeping everything orderly and planned out, so things went well. That doesn't seem like you at all. I know, said Ari, his voice pitching up an octave as he laughed nervously. I hated it there. Absolutely detested working for a king. I didn't realize it until he called me in for this job, but it was exactly like working under my mother. You had to be ready at all times to drop everything and do what they asked, exactly as they asked, or else. After this job is done, you're going to return to the kingdom? I figured I might do some traveling on my own, said Ari. Maybe search the realm to see if I can find a place where I feel like I could really settle in. It's been so long since I've felt like I belong. I don't think I've ever felt that way. Finn hummed under his breath, slightly surprised by the elf. I like that idea. Traveling the realm on your own terms. Perhaps I'll visit the coast or venture down south. See what the sands have to offer. You don't have a job or a life to go back to? Not after this, he thought to himself. Not one that is worth caring for. I'm sure that my employer wouldn't mind if he ever saw me again. Ari chuckled before he tripped again on a tree root, this time falling to one knee before Finn could catch him. I think we could both use a break then, he said as Finn helped him back up. My dear elf, you hit the nail on the head. We could all do with a break, somewhere far away from these god's-forsaken forests with all their hidden brutes. Maybe you and I will find something to do once the shade is in irons or in the grave. The two of them rounded the camp a few times, talking of nothing, filling the night with their voices. A beam of moonlight cut through the clearing and hit both Finn and Ari as they returned to the others a while later, startling Finn slightly. He reached out a hand to stop Ari as he noticed something dangling by his ear. What? Finn gazed at Ari for a moment, unable to form the words. He had kept the flowers in his hair. Perhaps he had forgotten they were even there in the first place? Said a voice in Finn's head. Against his better judgment, he reached toward the elf and gently touched the bundle that had come dislodged. You've still got the flowers. Ari lifted his own fingers up to the bundle, their two hands getting tangled. The bundle of wildflowers that Finn had weaved there earlier fell to the ground as bits of Ari's braid came undone. Finn bent to retrieve them at the same moment Ari crouched down. He recoiled from Finn as though their proximity was too much for him. Hiding a small wince, Finn threaded the flowers back into place. I didn't mean to knock them free, he said quietly. They belong there. They froze, staring at each other in the moonlight. Finn couldn't help but let his fingers linger along Ari's skin, brushing softly down. He was making it so much worse on himself. Ari was impossible to stay away from. Ari shivered away from his touch at the same moment Finn became aware of the sounds of crackling fire behind them. The scent of roasting meat drifted over, reminding Finn of where they were. He shot to his feet. Stupid, traitorous heart, thought Finn to himself, knowing full well nothing could ever come of this. Not in this life. By the warm light of the fire, Brennan and Soren were in the middle of an intense card game of knights as Prim sharpened her greatsword nearby. Cleo was already dozing with her head propped up on her bag, scimitar clutched in her arms like a prized possession. Finn settled down by his things, trying to get the memory of Ari's skin off his fingertips. The party settled in for the night, each of them taking watch in turns, poking at the fire to keep it lit. Finn knew he should be sleeping, but his brain wouldn't stop worrying as he lay there staring up at the stars. After this job, he could never see any of these party members again. He tried to empty his mind, turning over to stare at the fire before shifting the other way to look at the shapes of his sleeping party members in the moonlight. His hand traveled to the bundle of small spheres he kept tucked in an inner pocket of his trousers, his fingers rolling over each one to ensure they were still there. One more job. And that is the end of chapter 2. I've lost a second story, and there's another freaking typo. Of course there is. Shapes of. Of course there is. How are we feeling, friends? How are we doing? I'm losing a little bit of my voice. And I think because I have my window open, I'm getting a little bit stuffed up from the pollen outside. But we were joined by Odin at some point. Hello, Odin. Welcome to the stream. Aspasia on YouTube says, listening to you read out loud makes me want to read it again. That's really, really sweet. Thank you. Dawn says, stupid traitorous heart. Favorite line. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, actually, a few of you in the chat right now have already read this book. So I would love to know some of your favorite moments. If you can keep it as spoiler-free as possible, I would love to know. But yes, any of you, I think it's just Aspasia watching on TikTok now, but I think I'm going to stop the TikTok live because my phone is giving me warnings that it's going to die. So how do I do that? How do I end the live? I don't know. I don't know how I end the live. Let me see if I can figure it out. Oh, that's how. There's a button at the top. But yes, thank you guys for watching on TikTok. We're not ending the live. We're still on YouTube, but boom! Live has ended. Streamed for 49 minutes. Cool! Oh, I got a new follower out of that. That's very fun. Anyways, we're back. We're just going to be here. Turn my phone off so it doesn't... Ooh, it's warm. Ooh, boy. But yes, I'd love to know, any of you in the chat, if you have any favorite moments. Would love to know. Favorite moments or favorite lives or lines that you remember. Okay. Oh my goodness. Ooh, it's a good thing I'm only reading 3 chapters today because my voice is kind of done. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit done. But, sorry, I'm very hungry. I think... See, this is... Yes. They have British accents in my mind. But if I try and do a British accent, I will end up offending a lot of people. So... but yes, the British accent is supposed to be there. So like when Finn says, "You've still got the flowers," it's British. not, you've still got the flowers. Canadian. I didn't mean to knock them free, he said quietly. They belong there. You know, it's in my head, it's British. So do with that with what you will. But yes, that is the proper way, if you will. But yeah, I think my favorite line from these first two, or my favorite moment from these first two chapters is when Ari and Finn are talking about the shade and the shade's trademark, where Ari says, like, did he have the trade? Finn asks, did he have the trademark on him? And Ari says, the thumbprint of blood right on the man's cheek, and I won't tell you which one. That's in reference to his face or his butt, because he's half naked and half changing. So I think that was my favorite moment from these first two chapters, just because it was an unexpected funniness from myself in the moment. Although some people are probably going to be confused by that and be like, which cheek? I don't know. I'm like, no, cheeks or butt cheeks. Fun fact, it is the butt cheek that it was left on, just because I want it to be. Mm-hmm. My goodness. Okay. Yes. I think we'll read the third chapter and we'll wrap it up after that. But the third chapter is a little bit spoilery if anyone doesn't want to be spoiled. But I feel like at least 2 or 3 of you have already read this book, so you know what's going to be spoiled in chapter 3. It's also really funny that there's something spoilery so early on in the book, but I just getting those messages from my early readers who were like, I'm screaming over chapter 3, just makes me so happy, because that's exactly the reaction that I wanted. I'll pretend to be shocked. Please do. Anyways, okay. Okay, we're ready to go. Chapter 3. A life of murder and mayhem. This is an Arlias chapter. Get down! The other party members ducked on cue as Arlias stepped out from behind a tree and pointed furiously. I'm so glad that I had you gasping out loud. Get ready. The other party members ducked on cue as Arlias stepped out from behind a tree and pointed furiously, a bead of light shooting toward the wolven. It exploded in a furious ball of fire, hitting the beast with a searing blast of heat. The wolven gnashed its teeth and let out a wail of pain as flames licked across its fur. Prim and Clea peppered it with blows, bringing it down in seconds. Chaos roiled around the meadow as the pack of beasts attacked from all sides. Having had very little warning before the creatures burst through the trees and into the meadow where they were sleeping, most of the party had no armor on. He shot flames and lightning toward whatever had fur and teeth, hands slicing through the air as fast as he could cast. Yells and shouts from the rest of the party filled the air. Blood began to seep between the trampled and ruined wildflowers, soaking the bottom of Ari's boots. Heart pounding, panic clawing up his throat to mix with the taste of iron on the air, Ari tried to stay calm as he breathed through his mouth, tracking the beasts around them. Clea's scimitar swung mercilessly into the body of the nearest creature, a snarl on her already bloody face. Soren and Prim surrounded another, bringing it down with a mix of metal and glowing radiant magic. Brennan backed up, attempting to gain distance enough to shoot their bow, aiming at another of the pack. And Finn, where was he? Sucking in a sharp breath, Ari ducked back around a tree, sneaking over to the next. He launched another ball of fire at a beast, its wails of pain echoing through the clearing. Ari knew that he was not the strongest of the party, so he preferred to keep a distance, preparing spells to shoot off when the moment came, acting as backup for the others. A gasp of pain sounded, and Soren dropped in a flurry of feathers, unconscious. Standing in front of him, dagger raised in a fist, was Finian. What? Ari felt the world stop as Finn's eyes found his, blue depths sharp in the second they locked eyes. You son of a bitch, hissed Ari. Finn spun away as Ari lifted his fingers, aiming for an attack. The man brought his blade down and through the body of one of the last wolven, blood spurting across his face and chest. With a shout of encouragement, Brennan spun into view, moving close to Finn without fear. They hadn't seen what Ari had. A beast stepped into Ari's line of sight, causing Ari to lunge to the side, trying to keep Finn and Brennan in view, but when he could clearly see once more, Brennan lay crumpled on the ground, too. Shit! Prim turned then, noticing something was off. She advanced on Finn, a snarl on her face. What's happening here, Goldmark? Slight change of plans, called Finn. My name isn't actually Goldmark, though I won't lie, I do like it a hell of a lot more than my real one. It has a better ring to it. Prim brought her sword down in a hard blow, which Finn barely managed to sideswipe with his 2 daggers, throwing Prim off balance. Finn used his height over her to his advantage as he got in her face, slashing viciously with his blades. They were moving in such a whirlwind that Ari couldn't get a clean shot off on Finn. Who are you, really? Growled Prim. My name is Finian Shademark. Hi, Grace. Welcome to the stream, and thank you for dropping in anyways. Sorry, interrupted. My name is Finian Shademark, Finn answered, sidestepping her, or better known as the Shade. Shock ricocheted through Ari at the same time that Prim's face twitched in surprise, her sword hesitating ever so slightly, a half-formed word on her lips. Finn brought the butt of his dagger down against her temple, and she dropped into the trampled wildflowers. Ari felt as though he was on fire. He ducked back behind the tree and sank back on his heels, breathing hard. What was happening? Was he hallucinating, or was Finn, the man who had joked and become friends with everyone in the party, truly attacking them, using the name of the assassin they were hunting? A heartbeat later, Clea let out a yelp of pain too as she went down. That was not the sentence, but that's fine. Ari stood, trying to make as little noise as possible, desperately trying to think of a way that this could all make sense. So, Ari spun, finding a blade at his throat, sticky with blood. A strong arm pinned him back against the tree, bark digging into his shoulders through the thin linen of his shirt. Ari froze and sucked in a breath. Finian, he said carefully, acutely aware of the way Finn was pressed into him, bodies almost flat against one another. Ari's fingers twitched at his side, drawing energy together and holding until the right moment. He had the slimmest chance of beating Finn to the punch. The man was exceptionally fast with those daggers, which, now that he thought of it, made perfect sense. The Shade was, too. Their chests heaved, the only sound in the silence of the meadow, their ragged breath, both waiting for the other to move first. The dagger held still against Ari's throat. It wasn't enough to pierce his skin, but if Ari so much as moved wrong, he knew the edge would cut. Finn's expression was still as stone, something that Ari had never seen on his beautiful face before. Then, as though he had peeled off a mask, Finn's eyebrow twitched and a smirk broke across his face. Ari didn't know if that was more terrifying than the mask, this look of familiarity on a face he thought he knew. A low chuckle began to shake in Finn's chest. Ari could feel it through his body, all along the spots where Finn was pressed into him, pinning him in place. I've got to admit, said Finn, panting slightly, I've been wanting to put you in this kind of position for a while now. Oh? It was all Ari could choke out. I wanted to see how you could handle yourself with a blade pressed to your throat. Ari's eyes flicked down to Ari's hand, where magic held steady, waiting to be released, before coming back up to rest on Ari's face. Though, I did imagine it going a bit differently. How exactly did you imagine it going? Ari snapped, an insane bout of sarcastic bravery encompassing him. He swallowed, feeling the blade nick his throat, the warmth of blood starting to drip down his neck. Said Finn, looking Ari's face up and down, letting his smirk curl into a smile. Something like this. A tight burst of panic shot through Ari as Finn twisted his dagger away from Ari's throat, expecting it to plunge into his chest. He raised his fingers, the spell coalescing before Finn stabbed the tree next to Ari's head. With his other hand, he grasped. Good Lord, let me start that sentence over again. With his other hand, he grasped Ari's face and pulled it to his, kissing him as though he was drowning and Ari was air. The spell vanished from Ari's fingertips, replaced by pure shock. Finn tasted like sunlight and blood, which Ari promptly forgot, as the kiss and the entire situation caused his brain to malfunction. When they pulled apart, Finn kept Ari's head in his hand and gazed at him. His expression flickered sadly before Finn shook his head. I am more sorry for this than you know. Before Ari could react, Finn dashed the butt of his second dagger into Ari's temple. He dropped like a stone. And that's the end of chapter 3! Read the rest in a second story by me, out now. Oh, I'm so proud of that chapter. You guys have no idea. It's one of those chapters that I'm so proud of. I think the first chapter of A Little Luck is like that for me. Is it the first chapter or the second chapter? I don't know. It's Lottie's first couple chapters. I love that sequence so much. And I have one of my beta readers started reading it today or yesterday and was leaving comments, and she was like, this is not the cozy fantasy I signed up for, because one of the quotes was get fucked, Lottie. And I was like, ooh. It's a little bit of a spicier cozy fantasy to start off with. Aspasia says, I was rooting for you moment with Finn in chapter 3, and then the explanation had me like, oh, no, you're valid. Never mind. Good. I'm really glad that was the impression you had coming off of that, because when I originally wrote this beginning, I had it that Ari and like Finn doesn't do anything damaging to Ari in the original draft. He just like murks this entire party. He doesn't actually kill them. He knocks them all out, and then Ari's like, I don't care that you just knocked everyone out. I want to run away with you. And then my beta readers were like, I don't think you would do that. And I'm like, yeah, you're so valid. I need to make this like believable that he would run away with him. So, you know, read further for that. Jillian says, so good. Loved all of chapter 3. I'm so glad. Oh my God, reading this book out loud is making me want to read the entire thing out loud and put like the audiobook up online for you guys. I would have to figure out how to do that, but I think I could maybe one day do that. Or if I one day decide to do like a Kickstarter or something for the audiobook, I think that'd be kind of fun. My friend did offer to read the audiobook, and her voice is incredible. She's got the slightest British accent. She's from Sri Lanka, so she's got a little bit of that too. And she's also got like her Canadian accent as well. Like it's kind of all mumble jumble in her, but her reading voice is absolutely stunning. So I would have her read it out loud if I was to do an actual audiobook, but it's so fun reading this stuff out loud. I love it. Dawn says, I'm trying to kiss somebody that tastes like sunlight. Same. Oh, that sentence that Finn tastes like blood and sunlight. That was one of the first like full sentences that I wrote when I was fast drafting this, that I was just like, where did that come from? Because I need that genius to be in me at all times. I need it in me at all times. Oh, it kills me. And it's like the one sentence, like my editor didn't really comment on stuff that she was like, you know, experiencing in the book as she was reading through it. She just would like, you know, edit it. But that was one of the sentences that she's like, oh my God, I love this sentence. And I'm like, when you get your editor, that's when you know. But yes, I'm glad you guys were here for that reading. It's been lovely. I figured a reading would be a good way to ring in officially the launch of A Second Story. I think we'll kind of wind it down now. But if anyone else has any questions you want to ask me before we go, or anything you want to say, because I think Aspasia, Jillian, and Dawn, you've all read this book. And I'm not sure who else is sitting in the chat right now, but I know you've all read it. So if you have any comments that you want to say about a specific part, and if people don't want to be spoiled, that's fine. But if you want to spoil something that you really love in here, please let me know. I just want to be surrounded by love today. I really do. I really do. But yes, also I think as a comment, Aspasia, you mentioned on my video today about the signed book plates. I will be trying my darndest to figure out a good system for that. so that I can set something up to send you guys signed book plates if you want them. I really would love to do like bookmarks with them as well, but I think that's in a whole level of something that I don't want to get into, which is like trying to source places to get bookmarks because I don't want to use my parents' printers and stuff. It's expensive with ink and everything, but you know. Aspasia says Finn's realization at the end and wanting to go back to Aramount. Yeah, my sweet boy. Him realizing that he's just too old for this shit. Oh, so real. Hi, Slinky. Welcome to the stream. Slinky Night Panther says, bought it on Kobo and so excited to dive in. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. Congrats on publishing your first book. I really appreciate it. Oh, my goodness me. Aspasia says, Sage and your new friends. Yes. Oh, my God. I'm so excited to write Sage's story. Holy bananas. But, yeah, book 3 is going to come first. And book 3 already has a title. And every time I go to say it, I'm just like, oh, I can't say it because I haven't released the title yet. But the main characters of book 3 are named Mary and Xanvi. Xanvi's gender to be determined, because originally they were non-binary in my mind. And then the longer I have them in my mind, they're becoming incredibly masculine and almost demanding to be called he. So we'll see. We'll see what their gender ends up being. But Mary is a girl, is a sweet ethereal being. She is the hedge witch of Aramount, if you will. You get a mention of her in here. You get a little mention of her cabin at the edge of the woods, and you also get a mention of the hedge witch in book 2 as well. But you meet her officially in book 3 because she's a little bit of a recluse, which is very fun. But that's book 3. Book 2, which you're getting in the fall, is Lottie and Kier, my babies. I'm so excited to see my covers start to come together, because my cover artist Tessa, my lovely friend who did this one, she, like, when I sent her all the stuff for it, she was like, I love the boys, and she's like, I feel like they're my like nephews, but she's like, something is on another level for this next one because it's sapphic, right? And Tessa has a girlfriend, or a partner. I'm not sure what Sarah's pronouns are right now, but yeah, it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited to see, because Kirandir is a 6'6", beefy, muscly half-orc lady with gray skin, incredibly unruly black hair with shaved on the side. She got good forearms, and I have the one outfit suggestion I gave her is actually a suggestion from her outfit in that second story that you see, which is when she's wearing a red shirt that's open down to her like breastbone. And it's just so sexy. I love it. And then Lottie is a curvy, plus size, soft, but like this incredibly witty thief. And she's so fun. I love being in her head. I'm so excited for you guys to meet them too. And now that like the second story is out, I can start talking about a little luck more, and getting back to my bookish content, because I know people are probably annoyed with me for talking about my writing for so much. Talking about my writing so much. That's the better sentence. Dawn says, you're absolutely an inspiration. Thank you. It was so fun to follow along on this journey, and you make me feel like I can do this too. Heck yeah, you can, Dawn. We all can. I love it. And I want to read all of your stories when you have them ready to go. Yes, we all need to be, like, as my boss said today, she's like, I want to make everybody famous authors. And I love it so much. I love it so, so much. You guys are the best. Truly. Honestly, like in my self-publishing video that went up this morning, I mentioned that like the best part of the process was the cover, which is very true. And the whole self-publishing situation, other than like the writing and the actual story, the cover was just the best, because like literally nothing went wrong. Like it was just perfect. But you guys are my favorite thing out of this whole process, like writing and creating and everything. You guys are my favorite because you're the best. You're all the best, and I love you so much. It's matching covers. Yes. For all of the Aramount series, it's going to be this kind of a vibe with like the frame and stuff. But I have a different idea for Sage's story, because Sage's story is not really connected. It's not part of the same series. So I'm thinking going a little bit in a different direction. than the frame specifically for her. So, I mean, that's going to be 2024 or maybe 2025. So I can't really talk about it too much now, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, my friends, I think I'm going to leave it here. My voice is tired. I don't know if you can tell. And I am very hungry, and it is officially 8 o'clock at night. So I really should go eat something other than that cheese bread that I had during the stream. Like I'm a small Victorian child on the streets of England with just bread and cheese. Hello, welcome to the stream. Happy birthday. Loved waking up to my pre-order on my Kindle. Oh my gosh. That's so wild. Oh, I'm so glad you guys pre-ordered it. I hope you love it. I hope you love it so much. Oh my goodness. My boys are out in the world. And those of you who have ordered physical copies will get to hold a piece of my brain. How weird is that? This has lived in my brain for so long, and you guys are finally gonna get it. I'm so happy. But anyways, my friends, I think I'm gonna end this here, and I'm gonna go just enjoy the rest of my Thursday. Critical Role is on in an hour, so that's what I'm gonna be watching. But you guys are all the best. Thank you so much for your love today. It made me feel so overwhelmed in the best way possible. I really, truly didn't really get that much work done today because I was just so overwhelmed with love from you guys. And what a great day. What a great day. You guys are the best. I hope you love A Second Story if you haven't read it yet. And I hope you continue to love whatever I put out next as things go. If you have read A Second Story, I'm so glad that you guys are loving it so far. It seems to be being received pretty well. So I need to stop looking at reviews because I will one day come across a negative one and it's going to ruin my day. But Aspasia says, a little luck, here we come. Yes. June is when I'm going to start editing that one. Because that's when all my beta readers are going to get their feedback back to me. But between now and June, I'm going to start fiddling with book 3 so that I can get planning underway. But for now, I'm going to go take a half nap on my couch with some food. And I'll see you guys a little later. I also have to edit tomorrow's video for you guys. So there is going to be another video going up tomorrow that is all about cozy fantasy in general with some recommendations. So look out for that. But yes, I'll see you in another live stream and another video very, very soon. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Good night.